Hey everybody, it's John Hope Bryant. I'm in the car, as usual, heading to the airport in Gulfport, Mississippi. On my way from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. A great city in America, one of the top 3 cities in Mississippi. For all you signing on, good morning. I see you signing on here from around the country. Najuma Smith, Pollard just signed on, and a bunch of others. I see the audience building. Melvin Davis, good morning. Juan Lazur, I caught you live, exactly, back at you. Marvin Trice, hello, good morning. Devontae Hunt, my guy back. Regina Flowers, good morning. Joseph Saab from Tampa. Dexter McRae, hello. Slane Emerson. Okay, so hello Elizabeth. So let me, from Hattiesburg. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks for hosting me. I see Nyamika from South Africa signing in. Robert from Boise, Idaho. Tara Dennis from Houston, who used to work for me. Hello, Tara. Good people. All right, let's get into this. Unpacking Mississippi in a way that you've never heard. This is John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, America's first and largest nonprofit financial services network for the poor, the underserved, the struggling class, the teetering class, folks with too much month at the end of their money. We are leading a civil rights movement in the suites, not just the streets, about class and poverty, not just race and the color line, about teaching you how to fish. It's not giving you a fish. It's about your uplift. It's about creating a new color that we can all rally around, not white or black or red or brown or yellow, but green, U.S. currency. I want to thank, and I'm not driving, so don't say, well, all right, John, are you driving the car? I want to thank my man, a new friend of the movement, and me, Justin McLaurin. Justin is a federal task force officer, Department of Justice, DEA. If you don't know what the DEA stands for, that's probably a good thing. You don't want to get too familiar with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration of our federal government. He's with the Hattiesburg Police Department, and he's driving. Hello, say hello.
Hello. All
right. And ladies, yes, he's available. He's got a good credit score and a job. And he's a good dude. He's making smart sexy. So I spoke last night. I want to thank the mayor, Johnny Dupree, first black man to run for governor from a major party, or to get the nomination of a governor from a major party in Mississippi since Reconstruction. I want to thank him for hosting me. I want to thank Jerome Brown from the First Bank, who founded Bank On in Hattiesburg, for hosting me. He didn't get enough credit yesterday. I want to thank him. Tony, Reverend Tony, who bugged me on Facebook until I said yes. Thank you for inviting me in. All right, let's jump into this. Unpacking Mississippi. So you've heard that Mississippi is a lot of things, but what you didn't hear maybe is that it's a great state filled with great people with a lot of potential, but who've been lied to. And we don't have time to get into all of the details this morning, but at most you've heard that Mississippi has had some race problems. Okay, they've had some race problems, but you also have a brother like this who's creating a new generation of leaders in Mississippi, and people, he works with whites and Asians and others, and they get along just fine. Isn't that right, Justin?
That's right, sir.
So they're creating a new generation of collaboration in the state. You heard the state is poor, but that's really not the story. That's obvious. Actually, the real story is that only 2% of people in Mississippi, only 2% of the people in the Mississippi earn over $200,000 a year. Did you hear that? 2.1% of the residents of Mississippi make $200,000 a year. That's your problem. Not the fact that it's the poorest state in America. I'm gonna get to that fact in a minute. Underneath that fact, the fact that you only have 2.1% of people in this state who make $200,000 a year or more means there's no role modeling for success. You get a job in the government if you want to do well or whatever, but there's no entrepreneurship going on. There's no small business creation going on. one of the things Justin was saying is there's not enough things to do in this state. Well, there's not enough entrepreneurs bringing creative ideas. If you're living in California, you're living in New York, you've got some creative idea. You know, there's these dive centers in Atlanta where you actually dive, you skydive inside of a structured environment. Or there's these golfing ranges that they've built in Atlanta. Bring those ideas to Mississippi. There'd be a market for it. Wouldn't all your friends go?
Oh, yeah. I would love to do so.
I mean, all they do here is go to parties and go to the casinos, and there's just not enough good things to do with their money and their family and their time. If you're an entrepreneur anywhere in the state, you want to get a market penetration for your business, bring it to the state of Mississippi. And why is this 2% number so important? The book, The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, approved in the University of Illinois study. If you haven't read that book, you should. It proved this. At 5% role models, every community stabilizes. Not 80% role models, not 50% role models, not 20% role models, not even 10% role models. God makes it so obvious what his plan is that anyone can see this. At 5% role models, every community stabilizes. So why am I a businessman? My daddy was. Why do I love myself? My mother told me to. It's not rocket science, it's role modeling. Why does this young man know he can be a police officer? Why does he know he can be a federal task force officer? Because he role modeled other officers and saw a black man doing it in a senior position and said, I can do that, yes or no?
That's correct.
So you see, and by the way, here's a good example of law enforcement. So model that. So you model what you see. But if you don't have 5% or more of good police officers, you don't have 5% or more of entrepreneurs, you don't have 5% or more of small business owners, you don't have 5% or more of ethical community leaders or ethical church leaders, you don't have 5% or more of corporate leaders who look like you, then you have nothing to model. So why do kids want to be rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers? They're modeling what they see. These kids aren't dumb and they're not stupid. They're brilliant. They're modeling what they see. It's common sense. If all you see in your neighborhood is symbols, you like that, right? You guys agree with that? If all you see is symbols of success in your neighborhood are rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers, then why is anybody surprised that kids grow up wanting to be a rap star, an athlete, or a drug dealer? You model what you see. You guys, yeah, there you go. Thumbs up. So you get that point. So 2.1% of people who make $200,000 a year or more, that's just too thin. It's just too thin to model success, so they're modeling something else. Failure. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, here's the numbers I really want you to understand. Here's the statistics that no one's going to tell you. I'm going to drop the mic on you for the first time. I'm going to do a whole series on this throughout this year, but I'm going to give it to you. My Facebook family, you're getting this data first. Check this out. I've been talking about credit scores. You guys have known I've been talking about credit scores and how its correlation to social problems and challenges. And a lot of people are like, that's ridiculous. People on the Roland Martin show, I did that show. John Bryant, I got racial problems. I'm dealing with racism. I'm dealing with this. We ain't got no time for no credit scores. What's that to do with anything? See, that's what happens when you're arrogant and you talk before you listen. Data and facts are stubborn things. It's not about the credit scores, folks. It's about what the credit scores are telling you. It's about the energy, the economic energy or the lack thereof under the credit scores. It's about all the trend lines underneath the credit scores. It's not about the credit scores. Here's the data. I told my Office of Innovation, Research, and Assessment yesterday when I was in Hattiesburg, I want to do a speech and I want to connect it to data. My gut was that the credit score data would correlate to everything negative in community. Wherever you had low credit scores, you'd have high divorce rates, low graduation rates, low levels of higher education attainment, high levels of homicide, high levels of crime, high levels of drug abuse, low levels of small business, low levels of entrepreneurship, low levels of job creation, low levels of home ownership, high levels of gangs. I said high levels of obesity, high levels of heart attack, high levels of stress. I said, go get the data. My gut is that it correlates for my speech in Mississippi. Here's what my people came back with. Elaine Huggenberg, I want to give her some credit here. Elaine, who runs my office, the Operation Office of Innovation, Research, and Assessment, went and got this data from me, and I want to make sure I'm saying exactly what she gave to me. Okay, just so you know, this is not guessing. This is not close. This is directly correlating. What's the poorest state in America? Mississippi. What's the #1 lowest credit score state in America? Mississippi. The credit score in Mississippi, on average, is 614 across the entire state. Boom! Just drop the mic. I mean, that's it. It gets better or worse. And by the way, Hattiesburg's credit score is 644, so they have a bit more economic energy than the rest of the state, which is why Hattiesburg is doing better. Does it feel better, Justin? It feels better than the rest of the state, right? So more economic energy, better well-being, better self-esteem, young people moving to the area, it's got a bit of a pulse. Okay, let's go back to the state. #1 poor state, #1 lowest credit score, you never heard this before, in the country. Now, check this out. Mississippi is also ranked #1 most dangerous state in the country. #1. Mississippi also is one of the top 10 American cities with the lowest average credit scores. Out of the top 10 American cities with the lowest average credit scores, 3 of those cities are in Mississippi. Greenwood, Mississippi, with an average credit score of 583. Hello, 583. What did I tell you earlier? 700 credit score communities don't riot of any race. Black, brown, white, doesn't riot. 700 credit score communities want to go shopping. Only 500 credit score communities riot. I've never even been to Greenwood, but I can tell you what's going on in Greenwood. It's a tinderbox. Is that right, Justin?
That is correct.
It's a tinderbox. It's on edge. People are tensed up. They're stressed out. They're depressed. There's no jobs. I can go from city to city and tell you about your city without ever walking the streets of your city just by virtue of the data. Let me get back to the facts. Mississippi is also ranked the #1 unbanked city in America. You can't make this stuff up. The #1 unbanked city of America. The #1 most financially illiterate, state in America. The #1 most financially illiterate state in America. LaShawn tells me that's Mississippi, that Greenwood. She knows something about Greenwood. She just signed on. And somebody just said support black banks. Yeah, support black banks, but support good banks. Okay. I mean, if you supporting a black bank, but that black bank's not lending to black people, then what are you doing? I mean, I'm gonna do a video about this. It's like we're getting emotional and making a point without a point. So if you're supporting black banks, but that black bank is undercapitalized and can't make any loans to anybody, or they've got such conservative lending ratios that they don't even lend to anybody, then what is your point? So yes, I have an account in many black banks, right? Not just one, several. I do that because I believe in the institution building. But if you have an institution that wants to do 10,000 mortgages to minority people in your neighborhood and will give you prime rates, I don't care whether they're black, white, orange, or yellow, they producing some green, you better say yes. So it's about who's supporting your neighborhoods and your communities. It's not a black power movement. You do a black power movement, you're going to be a black broke movement, I guarantee you. There's only 35 million black people in the whole dang on country. There's 350 million people in the country. If you hang out a sign that says black business only, then you're going to go broke slowly because there's not enough people who are going to give you business. You need to be a good business that happens to be black and not a black business. Be a great leader who happens to be black, not a black leader. President Obama was not a black president. If he was a black president, he had been a one-term president. He had to be a great president who happened to be black. See what I'm saying? It's about excellence. It's not about giving up your blackness or your brownness or your whiteness, whatever color you are. I'm not, telling you not to be proud of your race. I'm saying be smart about who you are. Stop being basic. Stop being simple. Stop being so easy to track down, corner, and get you emotional, get you off track on your game. Get back on your game. Why are we so easy to figure out? Why is our agenda so easy to figure out? Yeah, black. We announce it on the square. Yeah, black power. Yeah, down with whoever it is. And then they got you. Be sophisticated. Be elegant. Be thoughtful. Be multidimensional. Have an open mind. You cannot segregate your life and integrate your pocket. You cannot segregate your life and integrate your pocket. I'm going to say it again. You cannot segregate your life and integrate your pocket. You cannot say, I don't want somebody else in my life, but I want everybody's dollar in my pocket. That just doesn't make any sense. Don't even make math sense. Nor does it make God sense, because God made all of us and we're all God's children. Back to the topic. See, you guys thought I got off track from this Mississippi piece. Mississippi has 4 of the top 10 most unbanked counties in the entire country. And I can go on and on and on, but I think you get it. Okay, you guys like that last piece. So, look, people say, well, John, talk about Black Wall Street. By the way, I'm not just doing a black broadcast. I've got people from all races, all places, all around the world tuning in. If you look at the session last night, there were white people, brown people, black people, all people. Now, clearly, I love my people. Clearly, I started this movement with a base of supporting Black America, and probably half my clients are black. But I want to make sure everybody knows we're going into rural white America with hope inside. If you don't like it, bounce off my page. We cannot do to others what they've done to us. If somebody's discriminating against you, you cannot discriminate against them. If somebody somebody unloves you, doesn't mean you don't love them. We're all God's children, and the way you fight bigotry and backwardness is not with more bigotry and backwardness. You fight bigotry and backwardness is by killing them with love. You just overwhelm them with love. You treat people how you want to be treated, because whatever goes around, hello, comes around. So we will be going into rural Mississippi, serving our poor white brothers and sisters along with our poor black and brown brothers and sisters. We will be going into Louisiana, serving our poor white and Cajun black and brothers and sisters along with everybody else. We will be going into rural Tennessee. Yeah, I said it. Serving our poor white brothers and sisters. We will be going in the Appalachians. We just announced 6 new offices with Delta Regional Authority in the Mississippi Delta. We will be serving all of God's children, because all of God's children deserve help. Did you hear me? We got to stop this madness. Part of the reason we have these crazy elections in this country is because we have been ignoring entire groups of people as if they don't have pain too. When you walk in that Walmart, you can't just say to the black person, hey, we're here to represent you. You can't just say to the Latino person, hey, we're here to represent you. What about that 65-year-old white woman who thought that she was going to have a better life? Somehow she went to Walmart to work there for a year, ended up there for 15, 20 years. That's not what she thought she'd end her career. There's nothing wrong with working at Walmart, by the way, but she didn't think she was going to live her own career there, right? Why do you think that you don't think she's depressed? You don't think that she's upset? You don't think that she's frustrated? You don't think that she's struggling trying to make a life with 3 children on an hourly income at Walmart or Taco Bell or wherever the heck it is she works, or the local shoe store? All right. You don't think she's stressed out? And to the extent that we don't speak to her stress, we don't speak to her pain, she's looking for a spokesman. And if you don't come through as an honorable spokesman saying, we are here for you too, she's going to find some crazy person who's going to be her spokesman. She's going to find some nutcase who then who speak fear and division into her and say, yeah, they're your problem, I'm your savior. And then you got a nation divided. And last time I checked, the Bible said that a house divided will not stand. So this is just common sense. Operation Hope is a radical movement of common sense. We've got to find a way to bring ourselves together. And the reason I love credit scores is it's not emotional, it's math. And the reason I love credit scores is that it's not about you trying to get in somebody else's heart. You're not trying to get in some white person's heart and change their heart about you. You're not trying to get in some Latino person's heart and change their heart about you. If you're white, you're not trying to get in a black person's heart to get them to change their heart about you. You're not trying to get, if you're Asian or Chinese or whatever your race is, Indian, you're not trying to get in somebody else's heart and get them to change their heart about you. Let me tell you something. My mother told me she loved me every day of my life. Juanita Smith, thank you very much. By the way, she has an 855 credit score. Unbelievable. I didn't know that existed. But thanks to my mother, I love me, right? So my philosophy is this. It's okay if you don't like me, I like me. Okay? That's not a statement of arrogance. It's a statement of confident love and appreciation of myself. Am I perfect? Far from it. Far from it. I'm not as good as my compliments. I'm not as bad as my criticisms. I am who I am. And that's enough. I start where I stand. I'm God's child. And a saint is a sinner that got up. I'll say it again. A saint is a sinner that got up. Just start where you stand. But if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And here's the big one. If I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. So if I'm right that poor people are depressed, that self-esteem problems, confidence issues, lack of hope, crappy role models, a crappy environment, then we're stuck in a series of concentric circles of poverty and depression, and then the bad people win. All the folks trying to game you win. What did Malcolm X said? We've been bamboozled, we've been tricked, we've been fooled. That's what he said, and he was right. But Dr. King was also right. When he came to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, or he came to Mississippi, I think the Civil Rights Movement came to Hattiesburg, and he said, I'm here to redeem the soul of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. He didn't say I'm coming here to save black people only. He didn't come here and say I'm on a black movement. He said I'm here to redeem the soul of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. Essentially, he was speaking to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. He's speaking to the aspirations of all people. He was saying that you can take no pleasure in the fact there's a hole in my end of our boat. If my boat sinks, your boat sinks too, because we're in the same boat. So if you're a white man living next to a black man, you cannot, as a white man, wish the black man ill, because the black man's not your problem. China's your problem. They're trying to eat your lunch. Russia's your problem. The rest of the world wants our way of life, and we sitting here giving it away. People in South Africa watching this broadcast like, I really wish I had what America had. I really wish I had the opportunity that African Americans have. In fact, if you're African American, let me tell you something. I've been to Africa. I've been to 15 African countries. I wear it proudly, my black African symbols on my wrist. Let me tell you something about black Africans. They're gonna clean your clock. They walking around, kids with a wooden bicycle, made a whole bicycle out of wood. We get a kid a bicycle from Walmart or wherever here, and kids like, I don't like that color. Okay, I don't like that version of an iPhone. All right, our kids we are spoiled. We have a sense of entitlement. Our hustle, our get up and go is all increasingly got up and went. We were driving around yesterday. You had 3 generations of black folks. Yeah, I'm talking about us. He wants us to move. He doesn't know you're an officer.
How you doing, man?
We had 3 generations of folks sitting on a porch in the middle of the day, not working, in the middle of the day. A child, a grandchild, a able-bodied brother, and now the kid is watching this foolishness. And how do you think the kid's gonna grow up? Little 3-year-old kid watching this foolishness. You think the kid's not gonna model what they're seeing? You model what you see. Get your rear end and go get a job. And I mean black, white, red, brown, and yellow. I'm sick and tired of us being sick and tired. Folks get up in Africa working. Can't see in the morning, can't see at night. Paying for their education. In South Africa. But and dying to get here. And that's why black African immigrants do so well when they come to America, because they come here and they hustle. They come here, and 2 years after they get here, they own an Uber franchise. Brother, Ethiopian gets here, South African gets here, whatever, Nigerian gets here, he starts working in a little hotel, working as a doorman, whatever. He figures the game out. He figures his hustle out. He then figures out how to work for Uber. He saves his money. Don't go to the club. Don't be buying a bunch of Jordan tennis shoes he don't need. Don't let people take his money from the check cash and the payday loan lender and the rent-to-own store. He ain't buying all this useless drama. He's saving his money, and he's investing in himself, getting his education, and 2 years later he owns an Uber franchise. I met a number of these dudes, and they're like doing like 6 figures in income, controlling their life, own their house, been here for 5 years. What are we gonna say about that? Is that racism? They black. I mean, is the black man holding them down? They black. We're depressed. We're distressed. And I'm tired of it. And the reason I love credit scores is they're non-emotional. Any decision you make emotionally is going to be a bad decision. I guarantee you. Credit scores are math. You don't have to get in somebody's heart. You don't have to convince them to love you. You love you. Protect yourself with economic security, because let me tell you, I'm going to do a whole video on this. Roland Martin and I love this topic. The first federal building ever created in America was the Treasury Department. The only federal building that share a line of the White House. You don't think that what I'm talking about is serious? You don't think that we're on to something? The only federal building that share a line with the White House is the U.S. Treasury Department. Money. All right, I'm done. I'm out. I love you very much. By the way, somebody's going to say watching this, John Bryan's not down with I don't know, let me see. John Bryan thinks that racism doesn't exist. Not true. Racism is horrible. John Bryan thinks that there's no discrimination. Not true. I think discrimination is everywhere. What I'm saying is, so what? What you going to do about it? Sit there and just suffer? Let them beat you up? Over it, around it, through it, you're going to have to get to it. What you gonna do? This is the civil rights movement, unbought, unbossed, unbiased, coming to you straight and no chaser from was Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now it's Gulfport, Mississippi, and this is the first time ever that I arrived at the airport and the police officer said move, and we didn't have to move because we're in an official vehicle. But I'm about to move. I'm about to get out of here and go to the airport. I want to thank all my hosts here. Love you guys very much. And I want to thank the police department for allowing me to finish this broadcast. I thought it was important that you guys to get this message. We're coming at you with a new movement for all people. And I have one message for you. I love you. I don't even know you. And I love you. I'm out. See you.